maybe my question wasn't phrased that well. I'm trying to get at how did going through that experience as such a young person have an influence on your later life, if it did.
That's a tough one.
I think it just fit me like a glove. So.
I was fortunate to go to work for a company that was already very advanced in diversity, you know. So I never faced a situation in the company related to discrimination. So it was just a progression for me, you know.
Ken?
Well, it's always been extremely important to me to, when I come back here, to see that the chapter continues to be diverse. Because I think that was, it was important to me, and I think it was important to all of us, and we didn't give speeches about it. But it was just the fact, well, I used this phrase 4 years ago. I thought, well, we lived in a fool's paradise where you recognize people for what they were, and that's how this country's supposed to work, and that's how we work. And I thought that was, it was always comforting and great to see that that's still the case. No, I know, but the fact that we didn't have a mold sometimes makes leadership difficult, because you are going to have multiple points of view and backgrounds, and that's always a challenge for everyone to make the fraternity work, and that's ongoing and continuing. I guess that will, as long as we're diverse, that will always be the case, and probably develops better leaders as a result.
I actually wrote a letter to the editor of one of the publications. It came, beautifully glossy and so on. And on the cover, there were 5 people, 2 standard Caucasians and 3 were minorities of various sorts. I knew the composition of Wabash. So I sent an email, false advertising. I said, I'm involved in the admission process at Vanderbilt University, the medical school, and the graduate school. We'd love to be able to recruit so many minorities. Could you tell me how you have been so successful in doing this? That cover represents Wabash College.
Well, ours is such a natural diversity, and the Peaks were by far in the lead, and yet Wabash College itself should take credit for a lot more diversity in a place this size, and may not be widely known around the world that was here, and I'm sure still is. There weren't anyone saying, well, you need a certain percentage of this, that, and the other, or we need to increase our people from this part of the world. None of that. But yet it was here. It was very diverse. And as Ken said, that presented challenges.
We probably had the only native Hawaiian. But no Eskimos that I knew of.
Let me open it up to anyone who have any questions? Jerry, yeah.
Well, I don't get on the internet very much, but I did notice this section of history on the Peak website. And they indicated that the college formally banned hazing in 1992, but they didn't, this was the Peak website, but they didn't give the Peaks any credit for pioneering this, way back in 1962. I thought that was kind of interesting. Maybe we can get the guys to update the website.
One of the hazards of a 4-year college education is loss of institutional memory between those who, and it doesn't get perpetuated.
And I don't know whether it was a loss of memory or whether it was intentional, but they actually have on one of the DePaul websites, they've got a Monon Bell talk about the
That's in the
thefts.
archives though, isn't it?
They talk about the thefts that occurred primarily in the sixties, and they described the Great Bell theft with the Mexican impersonation, and they got down to the bottom, and it said exactly wrong that they made up for it by winning the ball game. They lost that ball game. We got this old bell. We finally
No, I
had.
have,
And then one other thing is, you know, with about Bob Hamilton and the founding, Bob was certainly dedicated to starting a fraternity that had no restrictions, and yet at the same time, what I was told that really got it going was his strong friendship for Jesse Lisk, and he just wanted Jesse to be a Phi man so badly. And Jesse was interested. They were unwilling, although he was a senior and had a lot of other activities that I didn't get to know him very well. Jesse Lisk was just a fantastic individual, and for Bob to take a huge step, it's not easy to, in any kind of a situation, social pressure or anything, to actually deactivate a fraternity, and especially as strong as the fraternities are here, to do something like that for the love of your friend is just a fantastic thing, and that was I'm sure that was a factor, as well as the whole kind of movement aspect of it. I wasn't, I was pretty much intimidated by the faculty when I was here. I didn't get to know them on such a friendly basis as our esteemed panel here, but even at that, I still feel that that they were really rooting for us, and that a huge number of the faculty, although they couldn't play favorites or anything, maybe Joe can help expound on that a little bit, but I think they liked the Teeks.
I'll second that. I always had the feeling that there were a certain number of faculty members who were anti-fraternity, but it was like, well, we're anti-fraternity, but not this one. That was just sort of a feeling. It's hard to put it. You know, it'd be hard to find, if someone said, well, give me a concrete example of that, well, I'd be hard pressed to do that, but that was it seemed like when we did ask faculty members for help, it was always forthcoming. And of course, historically, now I'm not very good, there may be some other people here from class, maybe even from Brad's era. The house on Grand Street was built in '68, and I did speak at its dedication. A bunch of other fraternities had built new houses in that time, and as I recall, their alumni had to raise at least half of the money to build it, maybe all of it, I can't remember. And that teak house cost $425,000, and the teak fundraising goal from the college was $25,000. So you could say the college helped us quite a bit, and I think Dr. Eric Dean, I suspect, helped us a lot by buying the annex from the fraternity. I was off in law school then, so I have fragments of information about this, but I know that was going on, and you and John were still here.
Yes.
But so there was historically there was a lot of support from the college, and it was not like anyone trumpeted it. It just happened.
Dave?
Well, this is pre-Teak history, but if any of you men want to hear about a moon on Bell theft, Roger right here. Roger was the point man on the moon on Bell theft in 1959.
I can't help but recall that Ken and Dave Bird, Bob Hamilton, were all debaters.
Oh, Dave Ware, too.
Dave Ware were all debaters. And my little valiant for running down the highway would be exploding with argumentation. right when you say that the Capucines were blown up because Kowalczyk, whom you may know, is on your faculty, resigned on that basis.
I hadn't remembered that, yeah.
And
Yeah,
Bob
Cass did.
Walker, some of you may remember, he resigned. And so there was a widespread response to the founding of your group. And I remember that so vividly about all of those debates that we had. And that little value, going back and forth to such exotic spots as Pharaoh. Didn't get after it. But anyway, one thing I do recall, one anecdote that you might like to add of this. Bob Hamilton was asked to come to the dedication when that chapter was founded. And so they had somebody coming from your national office who flew in, and Bob was supposed to pick him up. Well, Bob picked him up, and the man said, "Wow, I understand we got a new chapter, Tall Cap Epsilon." He says, "Now what's this I hear about some bi-gam renegade?" Bob said, "I just kept trying." And he said, the rest of the weekend, he spent his time dodging this national anthem because he would be pointed out as that renegade bi-gam who had started the whole thing.
I want to add one more thing about the time, 62, 66, because I think it went through 67, I don't know when it stopped, but when we were here, hazing was part of the college culture. And, you talk now, you see kids, some of the fraternities, and some of the old alums, when we come back for our alumni weekends, well, we'll all get out pots and we'll wear them, and it's all great fun. It wasn't necessarily great fun then.
Remember the pole fight?
Oh, yeah, well, freshmen.
Couple ambulances is coming.
Well, I mean, you clearly in today's litigious times, you couldn't have this, but like freshmen would wear pots and they'd have to tip them to senior council members and faculty members. And if they did it, they could be called before the senior council and punished. And I mean, I think one of the first offense, they'd have to walk around the campus in green underwear for a week. I don't know, a second or third offense, they'd get a
But
deputy
you
haircut.
really did.
And of course, sophomores would try and steal the pots from the freshmen and tear them into holes in the pieces, and occasionally there would, of course, be altercations in that process. And I mean, we had one incident where Mike Schreiner, member of our pledge class, when he was a sophomore, had swiped a pot from the pledge in another fraternity, and he had, of course, you couldn't do this today, had pulled out a little pocket knife and he was cutting a hole in it when, that pledge grabbed the pot back and, of course, stabbed himself, creating a furor. And Mike had the good sense to march right over to that fraternity and let them know exactly what happened, that he had not stabbed their pledge. So there was no bar, but you had nascent problems like that. And then, of course, with the HS pledge training that went on in the fraternities, that was all part and parcel of that. Now and of course, we had the pole fight where
Did you win the pole fight?
my class lost as freshmen and won as sophomores.
I thought it's the other way around.
No, you were.
We were 1-1, I know.
You were 1-1.
65 wins.
Yeah. But no, in today's litigious times, you couldn't have any of that stuff. And in the colleges, when they talk about wanting a more traditional Wabash, well, the college is well rid of that stuff. that was all, you know, when you think about the founding of the fraternity, and that was the milieu that you were dealing with.
Well, Ken, let me ask you, being in that first pledge class, and me being a pledge trainer, I had to set that hell week up. Do you remember anything about it?
Other than we called it Help Week, we were doing a lot of painting, and we had this screwy thing, we were sleeping on mattresses on the floor, and we'd have to lug our mattresses periodically from the Crawford Street house over to the annex.
No, at
And this
night.
is in the.
Long moving caterpillar.
And this, you understand that in those days, the first semester ended like the end of the third week in January, and then there'd be like a few days or, you know, it seemed like half a week or